Our last way of solving quadratic equations then is using the quadratic formula. Now, a bit like standard deviation, it looks like a horrible formula, but actually once we get the hang of it, it is quite straightforward to use, and it should be quite easy marks. Okay, quadratic formula is given on your formula list. It's not one you need to remember, and this is it here. So we get x equals minus b plus or minus, and that's where we get our two answers from, the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Okay, let's try the first example then. We want to solve the equation 3x squared plus 10x minus 8, leaving my answer in a fraction in simplest form. Okay, I'm comparing this against ax squared plus bx plus c. So I'll get a equals 3, b equals 10, and c equals minus 8. Writing down the formula, I get x equals negative b plus or minus the square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Substituting in, I get x equals b is 10, so negative b is minus 10, plus or minus the square root of b squared, so 10 squared minus 4 times a, which is 3, times c, which is minus 8. Make sure that square root sign goes all the way over. All over 2a. A is 3, over 2 times 3. Tidying it up then, x is negative 10 plus or minus the square root. 10 squared is 100. 4 times 3 times 8. 4 3s are 12. 12 8s are 96. 2 minuses make positive. So we get plus 96 all over 6. So we get x is minus 10 plus or minus the square root of 196, not 69, 196 all over 6. So x is minus 10, here we're going to split it up, plus the square root of 196 all over 6, and minus 10 minus the square root of 196 all over 6. Okay. Type this into a calculator then. I actually need a calculator for this one. This one could be in a non-calculator paper if we know the square root of 196 is 14. Get minus 10 plus square root 196 all over 10, no, all over 6 equals, I get 2/3. I calculate it back up. You can type it all in again, or you can work your way up till you get to that plus, delete it, put minus in. Second answer, the second answer is minus 4. And that gives me my two answers. Okay, let's have a look at the next example. Solve x squared plus x minus 11 equals 0, correct two decimal places. A reminder, we're comparing this to ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. A is always whatever is in front of x squared, which in this case is 1. B is whatever in front of x, which in this case is 1. And c is whatever is at the end, in which case we get minus 11. Formula then, negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Subbing in, x equals minus 1 plus or minus square root of 1 squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 11 all over 2 times 1. We can't take square roots of negative numbers, so if you work out the bit under the square root sign and it comes out negative, you've done something wrong. You can do this bit using your calculator. You just type it in exactly as it says it here. So it's 1 squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 11 So under the square root sign we get 45. 2 times 1 is 2. Separating it out then, I get x is minus 1 plus root 45 over 2. And x is minus 1 minus root 45 over 2. I've not left myself much room here. I'll go up here. X equals fraction button minus 1 plus root 45 over 2. Comes out as 2.854 and so on. My second answer. Make that positive into a negative. Get minus 3.854 and so on. I want an answer to 2 decimal places. So x is 2.85 and minus 3.85. Make sure, if it tells you to round to something in these questions, that you round. Okay? You will not get full marks for this question if your rounding is incorrect. You might want to pause the video at this point and try the next one yourself. Okay. Ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0 makes no difference that this is in terms of p rather than x. We still just treat it exactly the same. It just means we've got p equals instead of x equals. Right, so we've got a equals 5 because a is what is ever in front of the squared term. B would be minus 7. C is 1. So p equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Subbing in. Minus b is the negative of negative 7, which is positive 7. It's going to always be the opposite sign of whatever b is. B squared is minus 7 squared minus 4 times 5 times 1 all over 2 times 5. Really not left myself enough room here. Under the square root sign then, so it's best just to do that wee bit first. Get minus 7 squared, which is the same as 7 squared, minus 4 times 5 times 1. That's 29. So we get 7 plus or minus the square root of 29 all over 10. Separating out gives me 7 plus root 29 over 10. And 7 minus root 29 all over 10. A calculator working. 7 plus root 29 over 10, which is 1.2385. And with the minus, oh, wrong button, right, need to start again. 7 minus root 29 all over 10, which is 0.1614. I want answers to 2 decimal places, so P is 1.24 and 0.16. Okay, last example then. Actually, I think we've got another example of the page. Right, this time we have 3 plus 8x minus 2x squared. I'm going to rewrite that as minus 2x squared plus 8x plus 3 equals 0. And I'm going to do that to make it easier to pick out our a, our b and our c. So a is minus 2 because a is whatever in front of x squared. B is 8, whatever is in front of x. And c is the one on its own, so it's number 3. So x is minus b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a, which is minus 8 plus or minus square root of 8 squared minus 4 times minus 2 times 3 all over 2 times minus 2. Which is minus 8 plus or minus the square root of, what's that, 64 plus 32. It's 8 squared minus 4 times negative 2 times 3, 88, all over negative 4. Separate it out, and again I've not left myself enough room. I have to change this for next year. So x is minus 8 plus root 88 over minus 4 or minus 8. Ah dear, there's that square root sign. Try again. Minus 8 minus root 88 over minus 4. Okay, so we've got minus 8 plus root 88 over minus 4. That's minus 0.345 and so on. And put back with the minus in it. Oh, I pressed the wrong button again. Start again. Minus 8 minus root 88 over, come on, minus 4, which is 4.3452, I've forgotten that already, 4.3452, and we want these to two decimal places, so we get minus 0.35 and 4.35. Okay. Last one then. We've got 5x squared minus 6x equals 4, and we want to solve it correct to 3 significant figures. Loads of room this time. Okay, first thing we notice is our equation is not equal to 0, so the first thing we need to do is set it equal to 0. So I'm going to bring that 4 over to the other side. Now it's equal to 0. Now it's equal to 0, I can pick out my A, my B and my C. So A is 5, B is minus 6, C is minus 4. Quadratic formula, x equals minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So x is, b is minus 6, minus 6 gives me plus 6. So I get 6 plus or minus the square root of minus 6 squared minus 4 times 5 times minus 4. Extend this line, so it's covering all of it. A is 5, so 2 times 5. Tidying up then, I get 6 plus or minus the square root of minus 6 squared. It's just the same as 6 squared. If you square a negative, it comes out positive. Minus 4 times 5 times minus 4. 116. All over 10. Separating out then. X is 6 plus root 116 over 10 and 6 minus root 116 over 10. A calculator going. I've got 30 seconds to finish this before my time runs out. We've got 6 plus, oh no, come on calculator. 6 plus root 116 over 10 is 1.677 and so on, and let's hope we press the right button this time. No, I keep doing that wrong. 6 minus root 116 over 10